Hello everyone and welcome back to another Black Clover mobile video. So Kiato and Kahono should be dropping on global very soon. And are they easy skip? Are they must summon? Of course they are not must summon, but are they easy skip? So we're gonna take a look at their kits and we're gonna answer that. So first of all, let's go take a look at Kiato. And let's start with his passive. This is the LR passive. This is what makes Kiato unique in a way. So he grants himself enthralling dance buff when there is an active buff present on himself. So basically you need to have a buff on him so he can get the enthralling dance buff, and the enthralling dance buff grants him 5% increased endurance and 5% increased damage resistance. So basically more defensive utility or more defensive buff. Also, upon stacking 5 enthralling dances, so when you get 5 of this buff, he removes the 5 buffs of enthralling dances and gain a new buff called Soon to be Idle for 2 turns, and Soon to be Idle grants him 30% increased endurance, 30% increased damage resistance and 50% increased damage dealt. Very cool and powerful buff he gains. But as you can see, he needs a lot of buffs. He needs to build up, and he will take some time to build him up, and as you know, Julius can do that without even needing to wait for him. But he does have a unique ultimate. So his 2-star awakening passive is damage dealt. He is a damage dealer. His skill number 1, if there is a buff present on him, he attacks after granting 15% increased damage dealt buff. Very cool. His skill number 2 is an AoE that attacks after granting 10% increased crit rate buff for every active buff present on self. So the more buffs you have on him, the more crit rate he will actually get. If you have a lot of buffs, he will basically always crit with his AoE. Very cool. His ultimate, his ultimate is very unique, and it says if there are 2 or more active buffs, attacks against enemies will become crit. So if he does have 2 or more buffs on him, he will guarantee crit the enemy. Very awesome. Attacks after granting 15% increased accuracy buff for every active buff, and the more buffs you have on him, the more accuracy Kiato will have. So as you can see, you can't or you need you don't need, but you would want to have some buffers to use with Kiato. The more buffs he have on himself, the easier he will get his buffs, and the easier he will crit on his skill number 2 and his ultimate. So this guy will need a lot of buffers with him. Also his combined attack, he attacks after granting 30% increased damage dealt buff if the enemy is taking continuous damage, basically burn or poison or something like that. So as you can see, kind of cool kit, but we have Julius. I think everyone should have Julius right now. Kiato will be unfeatured. He is not a limited, so maybe you can get him in the future if you like the character. Okay, so his skill page gives him a 40% chance to attack after granting a 20% increased crit damage buff, and at max level it will be 60% chance and a 40% increased crit damage buff. This should have been 100, but and if you put it in Kiato, it will actually gives him a remove 1 instant of continuous damage, that is burn or poison or something like that. And upon removing 1 continuous damage, he grants himself 1 enthralling dance, and that will help him achieve his passive very easily. So if you want to use Kiato, I think his skill page would be very useful on him, especially with the crit damage, because he basically guarantee crits enemies. But overall, I think if you have Julius, he is better in every way. So why would you summon on him? Maybe you like Kiato as a character. I mean, you can do summons on him, but I would recommend to skip this guy. If you don't have Julius for some reason, maybe you can do a summon, a multi, or but I would recommend saving. Maybe you can get him on a single when his banner leaves, who knows. Now let's take a look at his sister Kahono. So let's take a look at her LR passive grants a 10% increased max HP, you know, basic for a healer. Her Awakening 2-star passive is grant 5% reduced damage taken to make her more tankier. Her skill number 1 grants the ally with the lowest HP ratio continuous HP recovery equal to 4% of her max HP for 4 turns, and the HP recovery scales with the skill level, and for 4 turns is actually a lot of turns. So her skill number 1 is very good. Her skill number 2 is grants all allies 14% of own max HP as barrier for 2 turns, grants all allies an increased defense level 2 buff for 2 turns, and grants all allies increased HP recovery received level 2. This doesn't heal you, just makes you receive more healing and gives you defense and barriers. So she is a unique healer with the barriers and the defense, and you know, you get more healing. And also her ultimate is very unique, grants all allies HP recovery equal to 20% of max HP, and also grants all allies an increased all attack buff for 2 turns, that is 40% attack and magical attack. So I would say she is good. She's not bad in any ways, you know. Her kit is loaded. She's not focused on healing. She's not the best healer, but she can provide attack buffs, defense buffs, and you know, some unique stuff. So, but I think if you have the season 2 Charmy, you don't need her, to be honest. Let's go take a look at her skill page. So her skill page, the passive of the skill page, upon being hit by a crit, there is a 30% chance to grant all allies 10% of max HP as HP recovery. I don't like these types of passives. Very low chance, but it's a very powerful effect, but a very low chance to get it. So I don't like these types of skill passives. But if you put the skill page on her, she will also remove two debuffs from all allies. That's actually very good. She will also cleanse. You know, her skill 2 with the skill page would become very awesome. So she's worth it only for this. The skill page is worth it on her. So I would say, yeah, I mean, both of these characters, both of Kiato and Kahono, both of them are very solid characters. They are not bad in any way. Kiato actually can be used in PvE to you know, kill bosses or farm, or you know, because it will be easier to get his soon to be idol. You are not pressured. You can give him buffs, use the characters you want. So I would say he is very good in PvE. But in PvP, he would rather have Julius. He can stun, he gets extra turns, he does everything, he revives, so yeah. And I think even Julius can be better than this guy in PvE, but he's still not bad. He's, you know, not bad, not great, you know, an A-tier character, you know, very you know, good kit, but not the best of the characters. So I would say yeah, skip Kiato and Kahono, even though their kits are unique and they are very cool. They can be used together because they are both blue. Kahono gives a lot of buffs and Kiato can use the buffs to get his passive. But yeah, if you like the characters, I mean, this is a game after all, go for them. But I would rather save for the upcoming good characters. So this is basically it for today's video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like. Skip. This is my final answer, and I will catch you in the next one.